It happened exactly as Cayce said. The prophecy of the 3 nights of darkness has already begun. Edgar Cayce passed away in 1945, but his final visions continue to echo through time. In those visions, he spoke about a period of transformation, so powerful that it would split human history into a time before and a time after. He said this transformation would not come when humanity was ready for it. It would come when humanity was distracted, unprepared, and caught off guard. And looking at the events happening all around us today, it is clear that we are already standing inside that prophecy. Edgar Cayce was not an ordinary man. He began as a simple photographer in Kentucky, living a quiet life, until something extraordinary happened to him. When he entered a trance-like state, his consciousness seemed to leave his body. He could travel across time and space, and he would return with knowledge that no ordinary person could know. Doctors and scientists tested him, trying to prove him wrong. But again and again, his readings were accurate. Over 43 years, he gave more than 14,000 readings, covering everything from medical cases to global events. He diagnosed illnesses that baffled doctors, prescribed treatments that saved lives, and predicted discoveries that would not be made until decades later. But his most disturbing visions were not about medicine or small predictions. They were about the future of humanity itself. He foresaw wars, economic collapses, and massive geological changes. He predicted the 1929 stock market crash 5 years before it happened. He warned about the devastation of World War II before the first shot was fired. He spoke of earthquakes, tsunamis, and volcanic eruptions that scientists of his time believed were impossible until they happened exactly as he described. And among all these visions, there was one that he kept mostly hidden. It was his darkest and most mysterious prophecy. He called it the 3 nights of darkness. Cayce explained that these nights were not literal nights in the sense of darkness falling over the earth for exactly 72 hours. They were symbolic spans of time, each lasting about 3 years, and each bringing a different stage of transformation for the entire world. Together, they would form a 9-year process that would change everything. He described the first night as a time of confusion. Governments would start to collapse or lose the trust of their people. Economic systems would become unstable, like leaves blowing in the wind. Institutions that people once relied on would suddenly seem unreliable. He said that it would feel as if the world had lost its direction, and people would move through life like sleepwalkers trapped in a collective nightmare. Looking back at the events of recent years, political instability, financial crises, global protests, and rising mistrust in institutions, it is hard not to see his words taking shape. Cayce also warned that during this first night, the world would face a disease that would spread across the globe, forcing humanity to stop and reflect. The illness would not just be a health crisis, but a wake-up call to reconsider the way we live, the way we connect with nature, and the way we treat each other. We have already witnessed this in recent times, when a single virus brought entire nations to a halt, disrupted economies, and changed daily life for billions of people. For many, it felt like the start of something much bigger, exactly as Cayce described. The second night, he said, would be the most shocking. This would be a period of great revelation, when secrets long hidden by governments, religious institutions, and powerful organizations would finally come to light. Humanity would learn truths about its origins, its place in the universe, and the reality of other forms of life beyond Earth. According to Cayce, people would discover that humanity has never truly been alone. Evidence of this, he said, would emerge from archaeology, science, and even direct contact. History books would be rewritten. The discoveries would be so powerful that they would challenge the very foundation of what people believe. He also spoke about the awakening of psychic abilities during this second night. Ordinary people would suddenly develop strong intuition, telepathic skills, and an almost instant ability to detect lies. Children would be born with these abilities already active. Adults who had never experienced anything unusual would begin having vivid dreams, visions, and moments of deep knowing. This collective awakening would be unstoppable. Systems of control through censorship, fear, and distraction would try to slow it down, but every attempt to suppress it would only make it grow stronger. The third night, according to Cayce, would be the most crucial of all. This would be the time of choice. Humanity would face a clear decision: to evolve into a higher state of consciousness or to remain in a cycle of division, fear, and destruction. The choice would not be abstract, it would show itself in daily life, in the way people treat each other, in the decisions leaders make, and in how communities respond to crisis. Cayce said that this period would reveal the true nature of every soul. No one would be able to hide who they really are. It would be a time when masks fall away, and the light of truth shines into every corner. Natural events would accompany this choice: earthquakes, storms, and system breakdowns that would push people to work together or turn against each other. The outcome would depend on the collective consciousness of humanity. Some would rise to the challenge, becoming more compassionate, united, and spiritually aware. Others would cling to fear, division, and control. After this division, Cayce said, a new humanity would emerge. This new humanity would not be defined by advanced machines or technology, but by the natural abilities of the mind and spirit, telepathy, energy healing, conscious creation, and a direct connection to universal wisdom would be common. War would no longer be possible because the new humanity would understand that harming another is the same as harming oneself. Decisions would be made collectively for the good of all, and abundance would be a natural state of life. Those who chose not to move forward would not be abandoned, they would still be helped and guided by those who had evolved. Cayce was clear: this prophecy was not about the destruction of the world, but about its transformation. It was not an ending, but a beginning. However, he warned that each person would have to make their own choice in this process. Some would go through it as passive victims, others as distant observers, and a few as active co-creators shaping the future with the quality of their thoughts and actions. Looking around today, many signs of this prophecy seem to be unfolding. The first night's confusion is already visible: political chaos, economic uncertainty, social division, and a global health crisis. We are now moving toward the revelations of the second night. Every year, more secrets are coming to light. Whistleblowers are speaking out. Archaeological discoveries are challenging the official history, and scientific research is beginning to explore realities beyond the physical world. People all over the globe are reporting experiences of heightened awareness and unexplained intuition. The question now is how we will approach the third night when it arrives. Will we use it as an opportunity to grow, to unite, and to create a better world? Or will we fall into fear, conflict, and disconnection? According to Cayce, the answer depends on each of us. The future is not fixed, it is shaped by the choices we make right now. If you have listened to this point, perhaps you can feel that something is shifting in the world. Maybe you have sensed that the air feels different, that time feels faster, or that events seem to be building towards something. These feelings may be part of the awakening Cayce described. He believed that those who were aware of the prophecy would have an important role to play, not as preachers or leaders, but as quiet beacons of awareness and compassion, helping others navigate the changes without fear. The prophecy of the 3 nights of darkness is not just a warning, it is a map. It shows that confusion will lead to revelation, and revelation will lead to choice. What happens after that choice will be up to all of us. The truth is, what unfolded was far from a simple misunderstanding. It was a chain reaction of personal choices, hidden grudges, and an almost unbelievable sequence of events that no one on the outside could have predicted. The more people dug into the backstory, the more it became clear that this wasn't just about one moment, it was the result of years of quiet tension finally boiling over. In the days that followed, conflicting narratives began to dominate the conversation. Some claimed this was karma, a reckoning long overdue. Others swore it was a setup, a calculated move by people who had been waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Friends, collaborators, and even former allies started speaking out, some with words of support, others with cryptic, pointed remarks that only fueled speculation. Every social media post was dissected, every old interview replayed for clues, and the silence from certain people spoke just as loudly as the words from others. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, legal teams were moving fast. Calls were being made, evidence was being gathered, and deals were being negotiated in backrooms away from the public eye. What's fascinating is how this situation managed to spill far beyond the people directly involved. It began pulling in unexpected figures, industry veterans, celebrities with no direct connection, and even people from entirely different fields. They weren't just commenting, they were taking sides.